Hi everybody. My name is Savannah. I am Jeannie's assistant, and Jeannie is joining us today from her barn because she uses wild oregano oil all the time on her herd of 11 horses. Perfect. Well, Jeannie, what are some of the ways that people with IBD, IBS, Crohn's can use wild oregano?
I think for people with intestinal dysbiosis, the main benefit of wild oregano is to kill the pathogens that are in the gut. So wild oregano kills bacteria, viruses, fungi, and certain parasites. So it's a broad spectrum antipathogen agent, and it's super, super effective. There's lots of clinical trials. It outperforms vancomycin, which is an antibiotic reserved for superbugs. It has been effective against mycobacterium. So there's a lot of research on wild oregano oil, and wild oregano we found is the most easily tolerated. So even though it presents with this burning sensation and you think, I can't put that on a bleeding gut or a gut that's inflamed, you have to understand the way nature works and the way herbal medicine works. So wild oregano presents with that burning, but it's actually anti-inflammatory. And they use it on burn patients. They use it on third-degree burn skin. So if it was actually hurting or burning the skin, they wouldn't use it with burn patients. So you have to understand.
And you would think putting it on your body and it's burning already, you'd be like, oh my gosh, why is it burning if I'm already putting it on a burn? But it's antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It's wonderful.
Exactly. So people with IBD and IBS use it on an empty stomach as a agent that kills all the nasties, and then you support the body by at least 2 hours away from that dose, a high dose therapeutic probiotic.
Perfect. And I think you mentioned that the brand in our shop is Joy of the Mountains.
Joy of the Mountains, or North American Herb and Spice is another good one. You just want to, the key element you want to look for is to make sure it has naturally occurring carvacrol, which is one of the active components. You don't want a brand that has the carvacrol added in later, because that doesn't have the potency of the whole plant oil. So look on the bottle for naturally occurring carvacrol and make sure it's 75% or higher.
And then I think the one that we have in the shop, Joy of the Mountains, that one's pre-diluted, correct?
All commercial wild oregano is pre-diluted. If it says essential oil of oregano, that's where you need to be really careful. It's better unless you're familiar with working with essential oils, don't use essential oil of oregano. That is the one that can burn the tissue. So as can lavender or tea tree or any other essential oil that is undiluted.
And
so
highly
commercial wild oreganos are highly concentrated. And that's part of why they're so powerful, right? So for the commercial wild oregano, they're already diluted either 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 with an organic olive oil is a good one.
Okay. And if someone say they tried to use it, it was burning them too badly, they just couldn't tolerate it, you would recommend them diluting it further with olive oil?
Yeah, definitely. They can start with a more dilute concentration. Mm-hmm. Even at 6-to-1 and 7-to-1, it's going to have a beneficial effect. So and your other option is to take it inside of a gel cap, right? So if you really are having trouble with the liquid, very few people do, and for people who don't tolerate it at all, like I said, you can use the olive leaf extract.
That's right.
And that's what I tell the kids. I say it hurts because it's killing things.
Yeah.
And we've actually experienced this, that, if you don't have much there, or something's not active, it actually does not burn as much. But either way, it will only burn, we have timed this, me and the kids, it only burns for maximum, excuse me, it's really dusty in here, of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So just set a clock. My kids used to like run around doing this and watching the clock, and then, you know, it would go away. So
yeah.
So this is a mixture of zinc oxide and wild oregano oil.
Oh.
So to make this, all you do is like you take this container and you put, I don't know, maybe fill it a quarter full with wild oregano, just straight out of, you know, Joy of the Mountains or NAHS. And then you can order zinc oxide powder off of Amazon. It's really cheap. And get a pharmaceutical grade, so it's ground nice and fine. And then you just mix in enough zinc oxide to make it into a paste like this.
Wow.
That's sticky, so that when you put it on the skin, it's not going to just drip or fall off. So for athlete's foot, you put this on at night. You put a cotton or a wool sock over top because it'll stain your sheets. You'll never get it out. You put a cotton or wool sock over top because, again, you want the natural fabric that breathes, and you go to sleep. And you just do that every night. And I mean, maybe for your initial case of foot fungus, it might take a week or two, but once you've got it under control, if it recurs, it often will only take 1 to 3 applications and it's cleared up again. So then what I use this for is, again, horses in a rainy climate can get, they call it rain rot, and they can basically get a fungal infection on their skin. Oh, wow. Or they get a fungal infection in their hoof called thrush. Mm-hmm. So you take this and you can like soak, if it's a big crack, you might want to soak this in cotton wool and stuff it in, or just take a Q-tip and just kind of pack it into wherever it's cracked. Or again, you just apply it topically. Mm-hmm. The other way this is really great is if you have a wound that's infected, but you also want to dry it out, because the zinc oxide is extremely drying. That's why this formula works so well with fungus. Mm-hmm. Because fungus thrives in moisture, right? So mm-hmm. anything fungal that you want to dry out, or maybe you've got a wound that's super weepy and you can tell, it's just too wet to heal properly, use this zinc oxide wild oregano paste. And then you might use this, get it dried out, and then you might feel, it's getting a little too dry. Now the skin is starting to crack. Then you switch back to just the wild oregano.
Just the wild oregano oil. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So this is another one of my other concoctions that I use out here at the barn for them. And this one is 50% DMSO and 50% wild oregano. So this is kind of similar to a protocol we have for people with IBD who develop fistulas and mm-hmm. abscess. And I have some formulas on the blog using DMSO and wild oregano together, because the DMSO drives the wild oregano deep into the tissues. So it can penetrate a lot further than just wild oregano on its own. So definitely check out the blog for that, because I have a number of concentrations you can try. This one for the horses is very strong with 50% DMSO, because I use it topically, because they get abscesses. They can, I mean, I've had one, but some horses get it more frequently, on their hoof. So it's like they get like an infection in their lower leg or in their hoof, and it's basically an abscess. And then just like with Crohn's, that abscess needs to create a drainage tunnel. So that's the 3 remedies I wanted to tell everyone about today. And of course, they work for, I use this for my dogs too. Like sometimes they'll get, my one dog, he gets these weird skin things. And I notice it, and then I increase his probiotics and they go away. So it's obviously gut related. Well, anything skin related comes from gut. But in the meantime, I'll just put even 1 or 2 applications of this on topically. So I'm treating it from the gut, but I'm also treating it topically. One last thing, because most people have a dog or a cat. When you're getting that dog or cat neutered and they make you put that horrible cone on their head, or your dog or cat has surgery, mm-hmm. if you put diluted wild oregano, so a 6-to-1 dilution, so 6 drops of organic olive oil to 1 drop of wild oregano, you put that solution right on or around the surgical incision, your pet will not touch that. They'll lick it once and they'll be like, eh, and they won't touch it.
Oh, they'll be like, spicy, no.
Exactly. So you don't have to put the cone on them. All you do is when you see them go to start licking it, put another application on it. So, and then
dilute it so it doesn't burn them as well.
Yeah, 7-to-1 is fine for genitalia, but strong enough to keep them from licking it. If your surgical site is somewhere else, you could use a stronger dilution, maybe up to 4-to-1 if you were worried about infection. I wouldn't go higher than that. And then again, if you're looking like, oh, that wound is looking a bit moist, do a layer of the zinc and wild oregano paste, get it dried up, go back to the diluted wild oregano. So there's, yeah, I mean, literally, this is like pretty much, this and comfrey is like all you need for pretty much everything that happens.
And you said you can get it on Amazon, right?
The zinc oxide powder, yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
Pharmaceutical grade.
Nice big bag of it for really cheap, and just have it on hand. So, you know, the animals really are connected very strongly to their body, and they know what they need, and, you know, we can learn a lot by following their example. Can you see them in the background there?
Come and get my free ebook on what you need to know about wild oregano. Click the link in the description below, or come to listentoyourgut.com/woo, W-O-O. I'm going to show you how to choose a potent brand of wild oregano oil that actually works, and how to use it full strength and when to dilute it. Along with that, I've got 6 awesome home remedies for you with the detailed dosage and usage instructions. Learn how to use this powerful healing substance, learn what it's capable of, and it will quickly become your #1 herb in your medicine bag.